Hello everyone, welcome to Anime and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to meet characters with a Logia type devil fruit that could be considered the most powerful users of that type of fruit. So does Akainu have the most powerful Logia fruit in the manga? Or not? Let's see if there is any other Logia fruit that could even surpass that of the Magma no Mi. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. The animenomi, or the fruit of the marsh. Now this is a fruit currently being used by the pirate Caribou and has the ability to completely encase his body in a swamp, where he's able to sink anyone who has fallen into his swamp's radius. Not only does this power allow someone to absorb people and objects, the user can make use of kind of a machine gun and shoot swamp projectiles in the direction of their opponents, causing them to be wounded by the pressure of the projectile's impact. The intangibility offered by this fruit to its user is also a little bit interesting, because whenever they are struck by those without haki, the striking blow is then pulled in and they are trapped until the user decides to let them go, functioning much as if it was quicksand. Our next fruit is the Yuki no Mi, otherwise known as the snow fruit. Now at first, this fruit was used by Monet, but after she lost her life on Puck Hazard, the location of this devil fruit is still unknown. Now the user of this fruit can utilize snow during combat, making the environment much more icy, and release ice gas from their mouth to freeze their enemies or even create walls of ice. Now just like other Logias, this fruit also has the ability to render the user intangible, only being able to hit by haki or some other heat-related power can they injure the user of the snow fruit. Our next fruit is the gasu no Mi, otherwise known as the gas fruit. And this fruit is currently in the possession of the famous scientist known as Caesar Clown. Through this fruit, he is able to coat his body entirely in gas, where he can float and infiltrate tiny spaces as if he was made of the gas itself. In addition to that, the bearer of this fruit is capable of producing any type of gas, making it possible to create explosions, poisonous gases, neutralize poisonous gases that are in the area, and the user can even take the oxygen out of a certain area, thus suffocating their enemies. Now the intangibility of this fruit works in the normal way, making it impossible for users without haki to reach them. Moku no Mi, otherwise known as the smoke fruit. Now the powers of this fruit are currently in the possession of Vice Admiral Smoker, and through this fruit, Smoker can become capable of turning any part of his body into smoke, allowing him even to create smoke streams or even fly. Now because this is a Logia fruit, it also gives him a natural intangibility, although its opponents can hit him if they're using haki or some other element capable of nullifying or modifying the smoke. Next, we have the Suna no Mi, or the sand fruit. Now this fruit is in possession of former warlord and current Crosskill member Sir Crocodile. This fruit gives him the ability to transform his entire body into sand, and also allows him to manipulate sand around him and even perform quite lethal attacks with the same sand. Now because of the Logia ability, he does have intangibility, but enemies can strike the user if they use water or some other liquid on their body. It's also susceptible to attacks that are imbued with haki. Next, we have the Marimero no Mi, otherwise known as the Flame fruit. Now this was formerly used by Porcus the Ace, but after losing his life, his brother Sabo managed to acquire and eat the fruit and thus obtained the powers of Ace's flames. Now the flame fruit gives the user the ability to control, shoot, and cover their body with scalding flames, in addition to the intangibility that all Logias possesses. But as with all Logia, the user can be hit through attacks imbued with haki or another hotter element like magma. Our next Logia is the Goro no Mi, also known as the lightning fruit. Now this fruit is currently used by the false god Enel, and through this fruit, its bearer can use the lightning element in any way they wish, and even throw powerful lightning bolts at their enemies or to defend themselves from attacks. Due to the nature and energy type of lightning, this fruit also allows the user to amplify their observation haki, making the user feel the presence of living beings at quite a long distance from their current position. As with all Logia, the bearer of this fruit also has the classic intangibility, but it can be nullified through haki or even an insulator like rubber. Shin no Mi, or the fruit of the forest. Now this is a rather new Logia fruit that we were introduced to in Wano, and it's used by Admiral Ryokugyu, and it gives this marine the ability to transform his body and the entire environment around him into a forest, which can eventually attack enemies through his trees and vines that he creates. The user can also use roots to be able to absorb nutrients from his opponent's bodies and add those nutrients to their own, allowing the user to not need to feed themselves directly. The intangibility that this Logia provides is quite a bit different than all the others in that the user can be physically hit, but they can regenerate like a plant as long as the attack is not imbued with Haki. We come to the Pika Pika no Mi, otherwise known as the Light Light or Glint Glint fruit. Now its user is Borsalino, the Admiral Kizaru, and with this fruit he becomes able to coat his body completely with light, and even is able to move at the speed of light itself. But one drawback, even though the speed of light is incredibly high, the user can only move in a straight line and attack through light paths that they draw. But even so, the user is still able to use light in their attacks. With this power, the user can shoot light projectiles, bolts, and even create weapons like swords, enabling them to face opponents who use swords or other weapons. And just like the other Logia fruits, the Fruit of Light has an intangibility, where only the users of Haki or an element opposite of the fruit can physically hit the user. Next we have the Hia Hia no Mi, or the Ice Ice fruit. This fruit is currently in the possession of former admiral and current commander of the Blackbeard Pirates, Aokiji. Now the ice fruit gives him the ability to freeze anything he touches, allowing him to create swords, spears, and any other weapon he wants during combat. This fruit can be used for other purposes as well, such as freezing the entire sea, allowing the user to walk on the sea surface peacefully without ever having to worry about sinking, and the user can even freeze a person. Unlike many of the other Logia, this fruit's intangibility is a bit strange. The opponent can physically attack the user, causing the fruit user's body to break as if it were ice, but the user can then reconstitute their body as if nothing happened. And like all other Logia, this one has several weaknesses, such as to the element of fire, lava, or any other element that can cause the temperature of the environment to rise. Magu no Mi, or the Magma fruit. This fruit is used by Admiral Akainu, and the fruit gives Sakazuki the ability to transform his body into magma. And it also has the power to shoot large amounts of lava at his opponents. The heat emitted by this element is so great that the user can even pierce someone's body with a single magma-covered punch, making it one of the most offensive powered fruits in the world. And its user not only possesses intangibility, but those who don't use Haki and physically hit the user have their hand or body part touch burned, making it impossible for users without Haki to ever face the owner of the Magu no Mi. We come to the Yami Yami no Mi, the Fruit of Darkness. At first it was found by Thatch, the fourth commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, but Teach, who had been laying in wait for many years, managed to steal the fruit and took possession of its power, becoming the user of this darkness. The power of this fruit is capable of swallowing anything it wants with this darkness, even light, which means that this fruit is kind of a black hole on a smaller scale, allowing the user to nullify the power of other Devil Fruit users with just one touch. Now, unlike other Logia, the Fruit of Darkness doesn't come with intangibility because of the all-absorbing darkness. In fact, the damage that the user receives goes straight to their body, and not only that, they receive twice the damage that they would have otherwise taken. So as we bring our video to a close, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching the video, especially those of you who've hung out all the way here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.